Seplat, number of blue chip stocks up yesterday, and non-blue chip as well. So as far as the losers, Guinea Insurance, Equity Assurance continue to be on the losing end of the scale. But there's a thing called the Santa Claus rally, but it's
What is
supposed to be.
that?
It's supposed to be when the stock market rallies throughout the month of December.
Okay.
So some folks were hitting me up yesterday asking if the big spike was a Santa Claus rally. It was just one day, so there's no trading today, of course, and I believe tomorrow, since today and tomorrow are holidays,
Mm.
so we won't see the market resuming until Thursday. But it was just a one day thing, so I wouldn't be too excited about that.
Hey, it's Christmas. You can always be excited.
Right? But hey, listen, Folu, speaking of which, the Christmas cheer, this headline from Business Day, they actually went out to go speak to a few folks. And honestly, personally, I want to do this one of these
Okay.
days. So the headline is Christmas cheer fails to lift retail sales as consumers remain stressed. So what they're saying is that the outlook for the festive period has been a bit gloomy for a number of traders because of the sluggish economic growth,
Okay.
rising inflation, and then the unemployment figures that we saw from the MBS. So
Mm.
yeah, they were saying, and they went to a number of places. They were talking about Nigerians being hit by stagnant income, so wages
Mm.
haven't risen, unpaid salaries. That's something that
Yeah.
keeps popping
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Job losses. So
I
yeah,
feel like this memo skipped Lagos though, Rotus, because
yeah,
there's been a lot of activity and a lot of movement, a lot of up and down.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
like, maybe Lagos is not aware
Let's
of
hop
these
into it.
problems.
Let's take a look because they went to Spar in Ilupeju
Mm.
to go speak with retailers that were there. They were retailers that were offering a number of discounts, but they said that a number consumers weren't taking up their offers.
Mm.
There's a quote here from a attendant that says, "We're hopeful that they will shop on Christmas Day." So since sales haven't picked up at there over in Ilupeju, they also went to the Ikeja City Mall. They spoke with a teacher there who's saying that he or she was being very, very cognizant of where his income was, and that he wasn't looking to splurge this particular Christmas. They talked to a party gift shop owner who said that this time last year we sold more items. Sales have been low.
Oh.
I mean, they were
Okay, so
just
they didn't talk to the ram and turkey people.
no,
They
they
didn't
didn't talk
talk
to
to the
the
rice people.
talking people.
See,
They were talking to retailers because okay, look, they also went to Akbombo and the Dumotor markets. They were talking about listen, the amount of traffic
mm,
that goes into the area. In some of those areas
I
last year,
understand.
you couldn't find parking. Parking, was easier to find this year. So they were just going around talking to a number of folks, and it's at least for retailers, hasn't looked too healthy. But
Yeah.
like you said, it depends on where you go. Rice has jumped. A bag of rice now is going for like 15,000. I heard in some areas it's like
Premium 20.
21,
Yeah.
20, 22,000. So
Yeah.
so rice has gone up, and of course I'm seeing chickens everywhere.
Hey,
So the
my
food stuff.
backyard. Half of
Exactly
them are there.
right. So for food, that's the reason that food has what has been driving
Okay.
inflation figures for a while now. So on the
Right.
food end, yeah, prices have gone up.
Okay.
But in other areas, retailers they're not
Not
smiling.
happy.
They're not smiling.
Oh,
The big news yesterday, MTN and the central bank. It looks like they finally,
I know they've kissed and made up.
yeah, but
So cute.
the kiss cost money.
Oh wow.
It cost MTN some money. So
Okay.
essentially, MTN released a note to investors and the public saying, okay, look, we've been talking and we finally come to a resolution. Part of the note they put out, they said, look, the central bank looked at our figures, what we gave them as far as those CCIs, the issues of those being illegal, and they found that we didn't do anything wrong, but they said that the proceeds from some particular preference shares amounting to about $1 billion that they repatriated, that they okay, so this is what the CBN said. They had the correct CCIs, but the CBN gave them approval in principle, but didn't give them a final stamp of approval. Yeah, it's so follow the thing costs 19 billion. That's $53 million. I mean, of course, coming from $8 billion to 50 million dollars, it sounds like it's not much, but MTN has been coughing up money.
I started talking millions and billions here. I don't. It's a lot of money.
It's quite
There's
a
no
lot.
way to look at it. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. So, but still, for as far as foreign direct investment is concerned, investment jitters, people saying, is CBN targeting them? All that's by the wayside.
Okay.
So for now, it's cleared up. However, there is still the $2 billion tax issue. The Attorney General was saying that they owe that money. So MTN, that one, they said that no budget. They're fighting that one in courts.
It's a separate issue.
Separate issue. So the court case has been adjourned until February the 7th, I believe. the judge was not on seats when they were supposed to meet in November on November the 8th. So they've adjourned that court case. So that one MTN is still very much fighting out. But generally, as far as the major repatriation of funds, they're still that one has been settled. MTN did, however, say that look, we trusted our banks to handle this thing properly,
Yes.
and they're going to go and talk to them.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
because it's you go, you CCI is the banks that present them to the CBN when you want to move funds around. Okay, so that's that. Mr. Otedola, Mr. Femi Otedola is in the news yesterday.
Big news.
The two of them broke yesterday, the MTN news
Big
and then the
news.
Forte Oil. Yeah, so Forte Oil released a press release saying that, in fact, let me just quickly read it. Forte Oil hereby notifies the Nigerian Stock Exchange, Securities and Exchange Commission, shareholders, and the investing community that its majority shareholder, Mr. Femi Otedola, has reached an agreement with the Prudent Energy team investing through a company called Ignite Investments and Commodities to divest his full 75% shareholding in the company. So he's selling, man, he's selling everything. So here is what the reason why they say Mr. Tedola's divestment from the downstream business is pursuant to his decision to explore and maximize business opportunities in refining and petrochemicals. So one asks, he wants to go into refining. Is he going to, like Dangote, build?
So, brother, you know they're besties. They have like matching. They got matching boats.
Do you follow him on Instagram?
I do actually.
Yeah,
I do.
Ote
has dollar signs.
Right.
Come on. Only the cool kids do.
His social media game is not bad. It's coming up. But,
Yeah.
So they took pictures together in Monaco, London. They just keep popping up.
Yeah.
So
the romance is cute.
It's very cute. Now this is not official though, but the gist is that he might be going into putting some funds into Dangote's refinery. So there could be some partnership that could be happening in that space. I maintain though, Dangote has spent, I think he's putting about $600 million into that refinery. They've pushed back the launch date. I think it's now 2021 or 2022 or so.
Okay.
Fuel, I doubt. I can't guarantee it, but I doubt that we'll be buying fuel at 145 whenever this refinery comes on stream.
Even now, I'm not really buying. Most of Nigeria is not really buying fuel.
Right, and then exactly. I mean, places like the East is much higher, and then again, depending how things come out with the elections, we'll see what they do with that. But I think Mr. Atiku has said that he'll deregulate that sector.
He's been saying a lot of things.
He even said he will float the naira. Many promises.
There's a new statement. What can I just say? They're friendship goals. If your friends are not lifting you up to billions,
right?
What are they friends?
What are they doing?
What are they doing in your life?
What are they doing?
Questions.
Okay, still on oil. I've heard you mentioning Trump in your news brief.
Oh yes.
His Treasury Secretary, Mr. Steve Mnuchin, he did something very interesting over the weekend. He made an announcement on Twitter that he had talked to CEOs of the biggest U.S. banks, Bank of America, Citibank, Goldman Sachs. Well, Goldman Sachs is not a bank, but J.P. Morgan and some other brokerage houses. And he talked to them and they told him that we have no liquidity problem. We can meet all obligations. Everything is fine. Everybody was then like, "Oh God, who asked you to go and start asking?"
What's going on?
There was a perfect analogy that somebody, an economist, put out on Twitter that it's like going to meet your doctor and you have a cold. Yeah. You just have some slight, a head cold, you've been sneezing. Your doctor now says, don't worry, you don't have cancer. You're fine, you're not dying. Right?
What?
What's
doctor,
going on?
What is there something else I should know?
Follow that is it.
Yeah.
Markets now responding and said, is there something we don't know? Why you only talk about liquidity when there's a major financial crisis?
Especially after Trump said the only problem is with the Fed.
The Fed, exactly.
So we're like, what?
So as far as our own concern in all this, it rattled oil markets because oil has now dropped, like it's trading at $50 is what I saw, $51 per barrel. Our benchmark for for our budget is $60. Right, so we're trading far below where that should be. So it rattled it. Also on top of that, the rate hike, the Federal Reserve rate hike. Okay, so when they increase interest rates, right, it strengthens the dollar. So because when you raise interest rates, investors want to come into your market. They want to invest in your market. So that now it increases demand for dollars. Yeah.
Okay.
So by increasing demand for dollars, it makes the dollar stronger. That makes oil more expensive. So that one is by its side. So you've got the rate hike. You've got this Treasury guy doing this weird thing where he's spooking markets and making people nervous. You've got Trump attacking
Trump.
See, now I don't want to be an alarmist, but right now, with where oil prices are, the markets are very, very nervous about a recession happening next year. So it's all. I tell you, it's very nervous right
I'm
now. You
also,
know.
I can understand their nerves, but also, isn't there anything they can do about a president whose utterances drive their markets haywire? I mean, what do you
They
do
need to take
to
his
deal
phone
that?
away.
Actually,
They need to
change the
take.
passwords on everything. I
They
think
need to
he'll,
take.
he'll have issues. I'm sure he has the same password for everything. So
Right, and
just lock him out.
the man is just causing markets to be highly, highly, highly nervous. So I don't know. It's a bit of a nervous thing. When you think about Christmas, moving to housing, the federal government has talked about pumping 800, I think it's 800 million naira into their federal housing scheme. Now, with the housing scheme, this is back. I'm moving back home now to Nigeria. The housing scheme is supposed to be able to provide about 50,000 homes. They're looking at this over, I believe it's a 3 to 5 year period or so, about 50,000 homes. The thing though is this: our housing deficit is about 17 million units. They're talking
Close to
about
20 actually.
right. Look,
It's a lot.
that 17 million they've been banding that figure about now, but for a number of years. So affordable housing is something that this government has been pushing for on a very, very long term basis. It is not believed that 800 million naira is really going to move the needle that much when you have almost 20 million a 20 million housing deficit, and you're looking at putting in about 50,000 homes. We had some, I can't remember the name of the company that actually came on the program. I think this was in the evening session. They were talking about building affordable homes for about, I think about 8-9 million naira or so, something like that. The only way that the federal government is actually going to push increased production of homes is if they engage the private sector. There's just no way. Fully, we don't have I mean, okay, technically we do have a mortgage scheme. We do,
Yes,
right?
we do.
Right.
People are just not very familiar with how it
Not
works.
familiar. The funding also has to come from government. Here's something and I probably will talk about this on Business Hub in the afternoon. When you think about contributions, like pension contributions between employer and employee, there's been talk about more employers looking at making housing contributions for employers so that they can assist. It can be an assistance for them towards becoming homeowners, because I don't know. What's the Nigerian dream? Is it a hammer, or is it to be a homeowner? When you think of the American dream, it's home ownership.
It's a lot of it. The hammering and home ownership kind of come together for us, but hammering is first.
Hammer is number one.
I think that's first.
Yeah. So I mean, look, as far as that's concerned, what's one of the main things that the federal government has to think about in 2019, how to push the needle with the private sector for home ownership. So I think that ought to do it. Lots of breaking news in the business world today.
A lot actually.
Yeah.
Look at that, all for Christmas Day. Nicely wrapped up. Thank you very much, Rotus.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Lagos, stay with us. Smooth Breakfast does continue. There's some fantastic Christmas sounds coming your way. You know I've got to play Alexander Burke, because what would Christmas be without small hallelujah?
Abby?
What would it be? Keep listening though, because at 7:30 it's detailed newspaper analysis as well inside of Freshly Pressed. Good morning.